This is going to sound weird, but I'm actually excited to do this video, to record this video. This is ADA on the 6-hour chart. You get a sense of what is going on. This is an amazing opportunity. And again, forgive my optimism, but this is an amazing opportunity. I'm not going to say to buy the dip or anything like that, but to evaluate simple data. And this is a great demonstration, and we're going to look at it, a great demonstration of crypto markets, a great demonstration of commonplace things that happen all of the time in crypto. And as we watch this story play out, if you're out there and you're just tracking along, you're watching along, even right now, you're comfortable with your position, watch how this plays out. Watch how this plays out. And I'm sure maybe we can even revisit this video in six months from now. So let's talk about what's going on with ADA price. First thing I want to just mention at the beginning of this video, it's amazing to see the amount of people celebrating ADA falling in price, calling for the failure of Cardano, the I told you so's. It's funny to read. I saw this headline on Twitter: Cardano price is going to zero after the SEC says ADA is a security while eco-friendly crypto, Ecoterra, whatever that is. These are the things that I think will mislead maybe newer people getting into crypto, maybe people that were maybe just bought ADA. It's going to mislead. They see a headline like that and they probably just think it is so. I try to put all bias even and emotion aside when I do these videos, and that's what I want to do as we start digging into what is happening right now with Cardano. Before we look at the charts, and I have really two things that I'm watching for, and this is a daily chart. Two things that I'm watching for I want to go over. Before we do, I tweeted earlier, I said, capitulate means to surrender. That's what capitulate means. That's what the word means. People who own ADA and who fear it will never recover are slowly capitulating. Price will fall until smart money buys the fear in oversold conditions. It's impossible to know when capitulation is over. Only time will tell. What I'm saying there is what's happening right now, ADA is falling because fear is really driving ADA price to fall. People are bailing out. People are like, this is not good. ADA is labeled a security. It's being removed from exchanges. It's game over for Cardano. I think that's a general process going on in a lot of people's minds. As that happens, people sell. More people sell because they see the red candles and they think it's, man, we're going to zero, especially when we see headlines like this. You all know in my videos, I oftentimes say crypto could fail. Crypto could go to zero. This is so risky. I do not think that's what's happening here at all. I want to say that, but it's important to take into consideration the risks in crypto. Now, let me discuss what I'm seeing on the charts from just a really realistic perspective. For me, when I start evaluating the data and stop looking at all the noise and all the even hate comments on Twitter and stuff, it just clicks for me. And so I just want to portray that to you in this video. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do here. Not saying buy the dip, not saying this is huge opportunity, but just look at the realistic data that's before us. Before we dig into the short-term move and what I'm anticipating the short term, the first thing I just want to start out with is this. The terrible move that's bringing Cardano to zero right now, apparently. It's like a 22% red candle. It's a 22% red candle. I just want to let you know and remind you that before the bull market, actually, this is going back to 2020, right before the bull market, ADA just made insane gains. ADA saw this one red candle. That was a 33% red candle total from the upper end of the wick to the lower end. And there were red candles, before that, right? So that ultimate dip was even larger. We go back here, this one candle leading into the huge COVID candle. That was a 27% candle. We have a 33% candle right here. You can just see this big red candle. And then we have the last bear market. We have a huge red candle, almost a 50% candle. And if you measure the entire move of that drop for ADA, we're looking at like a 65% drop within a matter of weeks. Now, interestingly enough, when we actually look at this red candle right here, this is a very common candle compared to the candle that ADA is in right now. So let me zoom out and just show you what I mean by that. So we see this red candle, obviously triggered by a headline event, everything happening with the SEC, but we're at a very similar timeline perspective as we were with this red candle as a 30+% candle back then. We've been talking a lot about this time frame, ADA, Bitcoin, and exiting the bear market and then actually consolidating back down for months leading into the next Bitcoin halving, which the next Bitcoin halving somewhere in, all the way over here on the chart, right? So that's kind of a very similar area to get a similar candle. That's the first thing I just wanted to point out. I just wanted to remind everybody, because this is what I'm doing to myself, is reminding myself it's a 22% red candle. These candles happen all of the time. And I'm not trying to, I don't know if you ever seen that meme where it's just this little guy sitting in a burning house and he's just like drinking his coffee or something, like nothing's happening. That's not me. I realize it's a red week. Cardano's down, especially more than others. I think like XRP is up. I get that. But this is what ADA does. This is what cryptos do in separate occasions, right? So that's the first thing. And then I want to dig into the charts now and discuss what I'm looking for on the charts, what I'm anticipating. Two things. And before we even do that, look at this clip from 10 days ago, before all of this mess even started with the SEC. Check it out. Almost 40% for Cardano. And again, it could retest the previous low. It could be almost 50% fall after the swing high. We'd be looking at a consolidation of almost 40% for Cardano. And again, we're talking about a target to around the 28 cent area when ADA was around 37, almost 38 cents. We're talking about a target to basically where ADA is right now. And you can see ADA falling into this Fibonacci. Now, that was before this SEC stuff even happened, the headline event kind of triggering ADA into this range. But the reason why we talked about it back then is because that move, especially considering where we are on the timeline of these cycles, that move would be normal. It would be a bummer. It would be a shame. As you can see, it's not fun. But for me, it's just kind of like, that's just a move from a technical analysis perspective. Put aside emotion, put aside headlines, put aside all the people on Twitter that think they know what's going to happen next, and all of these crazy headlines, ADA price, Cardano price going to zero. Put it all aside. This is why I do technical analysis right here. It's just because we 10 days ago anticipated the move. Now it's happening. And I sit here personally, and this is why I do it, is because mentally I want to be prepared for these things. And I sit here and I'm like, okay, that's not fun, but we knew this could happen, right? And we're there now. So now that we're there, let's talk about what's next. The first things first for me, we're in the range, right? We're in this Fibonacci. And when I say the Fibonacci, what we're charting here is the bear market low to that swing high. And it's just this retracement of ADA right now to a higher low area. Now, the 786 right around 28 to 29 cents. ADA is there pretty much right now, testing that area. The very first thing I will be watching are daily closes. Right now, we're on a daily chart, and you can see ADA 22 minutes until this daily candle closes. Maybe it closes above and then opens a new red candle when we fall below, in which case tomorrow I will be watching how that candle closes. So it would be very nice to see support at the 786, a nice bounce, but I will kind of go back to this tweet about capitulation. Oftentimes, when these higher fear, emotional environments kind of take place for ADA, when we have a nice clean line of support, in this case would be the 786 right around 28 to 29 cents, it just could very easily be broken, right? With fear piling into cells, it could very easily be broken. So I'm going to monitor that, but if it does fail, what's the next thing I'm watching for? It's very simple. The previous swing low of the bear market low. And then I want to talk about important momentum data points that are happening right now on the daily chart. But we have this swing low back here. It's around 24 cents, bear market low. If ADA just kind of starts really falling and this gets really bad, what happens at that area of support? What would be very interesting is if this gets broken. And the reason I say that is because I will be very curious, and this is where momentum comes into play. I will be very curious where this RSI on the daily chart ends up, because if you look at this RSI, we're in oversold on the daily. This is a very big indicator. When you zoom out on Cardano, every time this happens, there's some type of bounce. It matters, and I talked about this in a previous video, it matters if it's happening in a bear market versus a bull market. That matters. But the big data point I'm really curious of on this chart, specifically this indicator, is right here. It's right around 19 on this RSI, because this was the COVID capitulation area on the RSI that ADA hit before bouncing out. And it was also the bear market bottom of the last bear market. So that area right around 19, you can see ADA approaching. I'd be very interested to see if that gets hit. Now, if it does get hit, that's one thing. But the other thing to consider is what is happening coming out of that RSI. Meaning, if we look at this chart, let's just go to the last time ADA was oversold. You see this move right here, this kind of higher low on the RSI happening while ADA price was doing the opposite. You see this? So ADA price trending down with a lower low. And then we have let me open this up so we can see this a little bit better. And then we have the higher low on the RSI. It's bullish divergence. I'd be watching and monitoring to see what kind of action kind of comes into play alongside price. Are we going to get any type of bullish divergence or anything like that? That's what I'll be watching. But one thing that I do know is ADA is falling into oversold on the daily. And this is where my eyes begin to really kind of start gauging and watching this dip a little bit more deeply. The one factor playing into this that I think makes it interesting is the fear factor. There's a fear factor here. ADA being removed from Robinhood and, just Binance US coming out today and saying they're locking the USD. People are scared that ADA will be removed from Coinbase because of the SEC's labeling of ADA recently. So there's a lot of these things happening and playing into charts right now. So hitting this area on the RSI is a very big deal that I'm watching. But one thing for me that is for certain, when I look at this chart, even still, actually, as I do the video, ADA is putting in a higher low. This is a big dip for sure. It's not enjoyable. But just look at the bear market we just went through. Dips all over the place. You can look, and we kind of did, and you go back on these charts, and you can just see dips all over the place. You can just see after exiting the last bear market, ADA fell pretty harshly, right? In the middle of bear and bull markets. ADA fell harshly during COVID. ADA fell harshly right before the insane bull run. These harsh moves happen, and if you just zoom out and you look at the chart, we're just in one right now. What you all do with this data is completely up to you. This is just how I see the charts. I'm sharing my journey. Obviously, I'm extremely just bullish on Cardano. I'm long-term. I have a macro-minded view of these charts. I'm in it for my own reasons, right? In terms of just, I see it as a value investor being a great opportunity. I really just like Cardano. How you see it is completely up to you. I'm not trying to sell any hopium in this video. I realize the risk involved here. I realize crypto could go to zero, but you zoom out on a chart, and this is just how I see it. What's happening right now? Does anything look out of place? It just doesn't. ADA is volatile. We know that. ADA is extremely volatile to the downside, but guess what? It's also very volatile to the upside in bull markets. So everybody, I'll leave with this. Hang in there, really. I encourage you. There's a lot of just junk out there in crypto. People want to see each other fail, and that's very sad to see. I see it all the time in my comments. Do your best to ignore that, and really do your best to look at these markets objectively without emotion. This isn't financial advice at all, but it's more just mental encouragement for you. This crypto game is very volatile, and I think just zooming out on the charts really helps with perspective and really questioning, what's your goal here? What are you doing here? And what do you want to happen here? And just evaluating your own risk tolerance for yourself. So these are my thoughts. This is what I'm watching on ADA right now. Not fun to see happen, right? We don't like dips. I don't like dips. I like bull moves, but it's happening, and we just take it one step at a time. So I appreciate all of you. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I will see you in the next video. God bless.